justices of peace, the new judicial officers. We also have court managers are here, Saristadars are there. I think from all the districts, let me welcome you once again to the capital of the state and to your academy. This is your academy as well. In fact, Sikkim Judicial Academy was conceived as back as in the year 2013, not only to cater to the judicial officers, but as it would sound unique, also to the advocates, members of the bar, to court personnel, ministerial staff or staffers as we say, as well as to other government officers. In that way, Sikkim Judicial Academy has always been unique, I think very rare for a judicial academy to be. Well, the topic assigned to me, I think in one form or the other, you've been dealing with these matters on almost, I would say, on a daily basis. In fact, it's not a very distinct. All that you have to do is try and structure it some way in your mind, condition your mind, so that these skills, whether administrative and judicial for the judicial officers here, we need to, I would say, work on these skills day in and day out, condition our mind, work on the bent of mind, on our skills, and then I think results would be as bright as your faces today. So it's such a bright gathering, I would say, very rare for some of the academies. Of course, this part will be edited, so don't worry. And I've already requested the director, since I would be, since it's going to be off the cuff, and since I tend to digress a lot, so you don't upload it anywhere till my team, my able team, Mr. Sagar is on my left here. He's working on the PowerPoint, whatever little I've made. Maybe this morning, only few words added, but I will discuss, and I want it to be not very lecture kind, rather it would be a discourse where we can interact also whenever you guys want it, whenever you want. No, guys would not be a legal word. Whenever the August audience wants, so I'll be editing that as well. Well, to start with, I think Mr. Sagar can play the first slide. It's just a slide, no videos today. Well, does this term sound any alarm? Sound any bell for anyone? Organizational behavior. It's a very popular term. Maybe not in legal circles, but anyone who's done BCom or MBA here? Any MBA graduate here? Oh, sorry, postgraduate? Cha koi MBA? So I think very few would have heard this particular terminology, organizational behavior. Well, to start with, you see, when we talk about organizational behavior, it's nothing but how we all in a given institution work towards the betterment of the institution, how we've been able to be a service provider, how do we interact with other, within our own organization and all. Something which may be difficult to explain, but which you must have already felt it. By now, whatever I said about organizational behavior, you've got the idea. Is the behavior, the collective behavior, the collective discourse, or the collective, the manner in which we all behave in a given situation within an organization. And you need not be the head of the organization. You need not be Group A staffer. You need not be Group C or Group D or maybe Group E in some places. And that's why I want Mr. Sagar to go to the next slide. Mediocrity, few words which would try and trigger something in you. mediocrity. Unfortunately, today, in many places around the world, I would say, mediocrity has become the order of the day. What we get is not the best of the best. Unfortunately, in some places, we get best amongst the average. It's not the best of the best that we are getting. Maybe we are not able to attract better talents. I'm not saying we all are here without any talent. We, of course, came through a rigorous process, all of us here. But mediocrity seems to have set in somewhere. That chalta hai attitude, bhai halcha attitude. Since local language, I need to interact in local language as well, and the national language. Chalta hai attitude. The problem in some of the institutes, and this is all general, is like, okay, we've got the job, why not? Well, Jamyang ma'am was reading out my profile. I'm glad that she read it out. I didn't know today it would be read out. You must have noted, doing my masters, a product of number 1, number 2 institute in the country. While doing my masters, on the first occasion, I became a judge. Couldn't complete from there because I could not leave my work and go there. And we did not have a training period of 1 year at that point of time. It was 3 weeks. After that, 2 master's degree from some other institutes, including a premier institute like NLU Jodhpur. I could have been the topper in my batch. I could have simply settled in. Prospects were higher. Otherwise, I would not have been here in a small state. Being a judicial officer at that stage, I actually thought that apart from dispensing justice, my further progression would also be in quick succession. So it was a very coordinated and calculated move. I'll edit this, don't worry. But problem now is, and I know most of the people, most of the staffers or officers here, I don't know the first row, gentlemen and ma'ams, honorable judges, but I know almost everyone. I know about everybody's efficiency. Everybody's efficiency. Because I am the only one who is being posted everywhere in the state. And ultimately, since there was no other place to send me, I came to the High Court. I was brought to the Honorable High Court in Judiciary. Now this is one thing before I start. Mediocrity kills competition. Mediocrity kills your zeal to progress. Please avoid being a mediocre. Next slide, Mr. Sagar. I'm just setting the tone. Now this is something very interesting. Long time back, while I was, of course we all read many books. In fact, last night after reaching home at around 10:30 and before finally sleeping, I must have read 2 or 3 books, not the whole book. 1 chapter from this book, not law subject, not legal, half a chapter from another book, and 1 more from yet another book. 3 books, I just read it since I was not feeling sleepy, working on my vocabulary, working on every time, trying and increasing my worth. LWT, when I told you in the beginning that you don't have to be the head of that particular organization or the institute in order to bring a difference. Now some of you who may be an avid reader would know the full form of LWT. Not the first row, because the first row is very learned guys, learned honorables. Anyone else, Mr. Ashok Tamang being a librarian, and you are appointed at a time when I was the district judge in Namchi in 2013 or maybe 14. Can you tell me what LWT is? Look, I'm going to make it very distinct. Can you tell me what LWT stands for? Because you spend your youth, 10 years, the most productive time of your life in the court library. Then, if not for the Honorable High Court, you would have stagnated in a place called Damchi. Thanks to the Honorable High Court that you were brought to the capital so that you get an exposure. And those in the capital also go and get the opportunity to serve in the districts.
So it's learn or work transfer, sir?
Well, it's a good try. Anyone else? Mr. Saram? Mr. Shubham? Miss Mamta? Others I don't know the names. No, LWT is something, guys. Dear participants, leadership without title. I read about this call it acronym or an abbreviation, in a book by Robin Sharma, who also wrote the book The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Who Will Cry If You Die. It's a very popular book, and Robin Sharma is a very popular person. And though not a LLB, he has a LLB, just for your consumption. Now, in his book, one of the books, I don't remember which book because I have read so many of his books, he talks about leadership without title. You don't need a title for being a leader in any institute. Be it Group B, Group C, even Group D. Now in the High Court with the Honorable Chief Justice that we presently have, we get suggestions even from Group D employees, Group D staffers. We work on it, we improvise on it, and we implement on it. And the results we have seen. We as an institute have made national headlines, be it on gender neutrality employment notices, be it on menstrual leave. There was a national debate on this on the latter topic. And Sikkim High Court was the first High Court to do it. Be it on medical facilities for the High Court employees, be it other matters which I don't think I should discuss further. You got the idea. So you don't have to be the leader, you don't have to be the Registrar General of the High Court, you don't have to be the District Judge of the district in order to bring about a change and work on something progressive. You can as well be an office superintendent, an upper divisional assistant or clerk, whatever you call it. Some places it's UDC, some places it's UDA, LDA, lower divisional. Now make it out. You don't have to have a particular designation. I see people, and maybe at one point of time I was also maybe the same. Everyone is worried about when to get promotions and all. The problem with early promotions I have noted is, and being in the service for almost 2 decades now, I can say I have seen people from almost all walks of life. I have dealt with cases, any case under the sun one could imagine, despite Sikkim being a small place and with very less, comparatively lesser litigation. I have seen people hankering for promotions. Now, I don't want to name the particular service, though known as the steel frame of India at one point of time. I won't name the service. If you are smart enough, you'll understand what service I am talking about. What I have seen, and I have many friends in that service. As a matter of fact, before my appointment order came, in fact, after my appointment, Thursday my appointment order came in 2005 as a judicial officer, and the coming Sunday was my date for my written examinations for that service. You must have got it, what service? But I never applied for it. What I have seen is, they have a very time-bound promotions. 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Now, of course, the good thing is your legitimate expectation to grow further is cemented by the fact that you have a time-bound promotion. Job security would be there, job satisfaction would be there. Now, the negative side of it, well, you tend to become complacent, mediocrity sets in, again that chalta hai attitude, baita hai. And for our people here, for the hill people, I have noted that this chalta hai attitude is actually, what do you say? How do you say it? Is actually counterproductive. We are not able to be productive. Now I'll give you an example. I have been the Registrar General for maybe 2 years now. Before that, Registrar Judicial Service for 6 months. And Registrar General without being the Registrar. Till date, we all are from the district courts here. Till date, I have not received a single suggestion from any of the district staffer or staffers ki, sir, Your Honor, shouldn't this also be done or implemented for the district ministerial staffers? Has anyone ever advised me, Mr. Anil? You know why? Because we are only seeking individual growth, not the institution's growth. My promotion, my transfer, my falana leave credit. It's very sad to see that. Yesterday I just went for an inspection in one of the NXC buildings of our institute. Well, from the floor, the most active floor, the floor upwards, was in a very dingy or shabby condition. So I called the concerned in charge. I said, what is this? Why are you not maintaining? It's your job, you're being paid for that. No, sir, nobody uses it. Does that mean, if a toilet is not being used, does that mean you leave it dirty or filthy? Now, these are few things, and I think it has to set in, if not innately in us, we have to condition our mind so that we can work on these things. Now, while talking to you right now, or while delivering this discourse, back of my mind, I just got a very nice text. Something I was working on. Something which I actually wanted to happen. Something which was not done till now. Something which was not even thought of till now. I just got the message that it has been done. And it doesn't concern me personally, but I'm so happy for someone else. And I'm sure 90% of you would be happy for others. We lack that. Dear participants, we all are a family. Most of you are young here. We all are going to be old together. I may be the senior most here, but I am here for another maybe 20 years. We need to be happy for others as well. And that's what LWT stands for. You don't have to be the Seristadar or the court manager. And for some court managers, I'm talking generally, not only Sikkim, only data providing, information sharing, of course that is their work, but at the same time, is your court functioning as per the norms set by the NCMS, National Court Management, NCMS, SCMS also we have. Is your court system, is your vulnerable witness room as per the layout plan provided by the VWDC constituted by the Honorable Supreme Court? Is your court layout in accordance, in conformity with the layout plan provided by the NCMS committee constituted by none other than the Honorable Supreme Court? I have in the last 2 years never received any suggestions in that regard. If I receive suggestions, I'll place it before the competent authority. It may be approved, it may not be approved, but as the Registrar General, I'll be placing it. And I'll say, well, this is the demand of so and so, and their demand is not, it is a legitimate demand, not something out of nowhere. So, my dear participants, very young crowd, very productive crowd we have here, including the learned judicial officers. We need to be leaders without seeking titles. That is what I wanted to impress upon. And there's one more thing. Two things, one for judicial officers as well for the non-judicial officers here, and the other one for everyone in general. You know, the same author mentioned two things in his book, and I read his book maybe 13-14 years back. First one was, you know what he says, and which I mentioned briefly in the passing, I mentioned it. We need to increase our worth. I remember one Group D staff in the High Court. She sat for some computer related post, computer cadre, technical post. Through competitive examinations, he cleared it, maybe one of the toppers, one of the top 3 or something. From Group D, he'll jump as a technical something, and now further, applying for further this thing, already a graduate. And Honorable the Chief Justice was so kind enough to actually call that staff or staffer, encourage her to progress further. Now these kinds of people or leaders are very rare to find. We are all, I think we have become over the period of time, and I think 20 years back, when I compare 20 years back with the present, this thing, I think we have become, first of all, too busy to even think about others. No one is bothered about others, whether in the institute or outside the institute. We are here for others, not for our personal this thing. Our office is not a private office. So he says, increase your worth. Please increase your worth. You may be the court manager. You may be a judicial magistrate, a civil judge. That doesn't mean okay, all set in and okay. No. Keep on reading something. Increase your worth. Other thing he says, and which might be interesting for the judicial officers here, he says, build a library of heroic books. Increase your worth and build a library of heroic books. You know why he says heroic books? Now I am not saying buy every book that you feel like. We have libraries, we have library in the academy, we have library in the High Court, we have libraries in all the district courts, and we not only subscribe legal treaties or books or materials or articles or journals, but also non-legal, isn't it? Magazines would come, I think books on other topics as well. Now, when was the last time, let me ask Mr. Anil here, when was the last time, Mr. Anil, you went to the district court library in Galzing or Gazing and actually sat down and read something? You need not answer. Kunta ma'am, when was the last time you went to the library in the district court, actually read something? Answer, no need to answer. Srinkala ma'am? Oh, Subham, when was the last time you went to the library? I know the answer, don't answer. So please increase your worth, because a worthy Subham, a worthier Anil would make the institution grow further, and we can cater, we can work better for the beneficiaries. Who are our beneficiaries? We are not the beneficiaries. The public at large is the beneficiary. This is what I wanted to impress upon you. Next slide. Meticulousness. One thing I have noted, and I can say this, over the period of years, I have noticed one thing. People, whether in our institute or in other institutes, or whether in business dealings, private dealings and all, we have lost one quality, we're losing out on one quality. Meticulousness. For example, being the Registrar General, it is not that all files come to me. Especially after I took over as the Registrar General, I made it a point that we allocate work. So there are 3 learned senior judicial officers in the registry. We have divided the work, and that is how I can afford to be with you. Otherwise it was like stacking all those files, piling up all those files and working like a babu, with all due respect to the babus. It's how you work. There's something called, can someone tell me what law of Parkinson's is, Mr. Anand? Or the Parkinson's law? Just note it down. Parkinson's law or law of Parkinson's. Look, I told you it's going to be off the cuff, because this is not something for which I have to prepare a whole night or for the whole week. Law of Parkinson's or Parkinson's law. Like I told you, I could have maybe a stack of files piling up on my table by the time I go back after a sumptuous lunch with the academy, which is obviously provided. Even if you have 20 matters to attend to, or 40 matters to attend to, or 5 matters to attend to, ultimately the time, relativity or the time, it stretches in such a manner that by the time, for example, in the courts you must have noted, as a Bisoda case, sir, 20 cases today, 4:30 ne huncha. I know. Court manager Sabita ma'am would know. 50 odd cases of 4:30 ne huncha. I'm trying to relate it. This is something which actually fits in, and for which, on which, or to which the law of Parkinson's applies. So it's not the hours that you put in, but what you put in an hour. This is how your mind should, you should condition your mind. Oh, Aditya, I have 20 files. I'm not speaking the local language because this is for everyone. This is for every pan-India. I have 20 files, I'll stick to 20 files. No. There's a way of doing it. It's meticulousness. One thing I have noted, I had never worked in the registry. Of course, all my juniors had been brought to the registry, but I was not, because I had requested that I love judicial work. So I would rather ask for a posting in a far-flung district than do administrative works. Because I thought administrative work is not my forte or not my thing. But it turns out I'm equally good in administrative work. Now you may say that I'm so full of myself. But the reason I can brag about it, the reason why I flaunt few achievements, is because I have always been meticulous. I see a file which is placed before me by an equally competent person. I look at the noting and I find it so difficult to actually read through that note. Honestly, in the last, because when you are presiding over the court, you are actually author of every document that you are, the judgment that you are pronouncing or the orders that you are pronouncing. Even a Jimny order. What is a Jimny order? Even a 2-line order. You have actually thought something and then something has come out. Meticulousness is one thing that I have, honestly speaking, in the last 21 years as a judicial officer, very rarely I've seen a drafting, I've seen a note, very rarely, I'm not saying never, but very rare, where you actually feel like reading the note or the arguments that are placed before you. So meticulousness, especially for judicial officers, which all that you have to write, you'll be authoring hundreds and maybe thousands of judgments and orders. Meticulousness, be it a remand order, be it a release order, be it any order, day-to-day procedural orders. It's called procedural orders. What you record as a procedure. Falana present, so and so, filed so and so, so and so. These are called procedural orders. You are recording the procedure. Meticulousness, everyone, and let me tell you, there is no age bar for being meticulous. I have seen people who have actually signed after 40. They may have been, if you remember the previous slide, mediocre in their 30s. Of course, 20s, amateur, maturity slowly. 30s, a little more productive. 40s, more finesse to your work, polishness to your work. 50s, more supervisory of something. 60s, well, you know, I always quote one author. Have you heard of, I'm not getting the first name, Akbar Allahabadi, Allahabadi is the main name. Have you heard of that poet, Allahabadi? Maybe Akbar Allahabadi or some Allahabadi. You know what he says? And I may fumble with few words. BA किए, नौकरी लगा, रिटायर हुए, मर गए. I'll just Google it so that, and then you'll understand why I'm trying to, and I tend to forget my own passwords. Akbar, he's a poet, not writer. Akbar Allahabadi, BA किए, नौकरी किए, and this has actually been quoted by a legal luminary in his book as a preface to his book. Since it's in Hindi, anyways, you got the idea. I couldn't get it here. BA किए, नौकरी मिला, रिटायर हुए, मर गए. So do you want to be that? Or do you want to be remembered for something? Now when I go to the districts, because very rare that it's very rare to find a judicial officer in this state who has actually been to all the districts. When I go to the districts, I note one thing. The staffers there, the officers and other staffers there, they would be so welcoming and genuinely, and I am a very astute person. I can actually make out while talking to someone, I can actually make out the verbal as well as the non-verbal cues from the body language, from the facial expressions, non-verbal cues. I can actually make out whether this person is actually genuine or not genuine. Because I have conditioned my mind that way. When I go to these districts or subdivisions, I note that they're so welcoming and actually happy to see me and my team. Because at some point of time, while being in that district, I may have done something for the institute or for the person's employees working there, for which they still remember me. So don't be like what the poet Akbar Allahabadi said, but try and work for the institute, improvise on things, increase your worth, and work on your meticulousness. Be meticulous. I have noted now everyone here has been provided with a computer set with internet connectivity. How often have you Googled something, for example, a word, how to use that word? I would say very rare. Work on that as well. That is how you tend to become meticulous. Please be meticulous. And it's a very competitive world. And let me tell you, I may sound a little brusque. There's something called efficiency bar. So we don't want any of you losing your efficiency after reaching the age of 50 and then forcing us or compelling us to give you that golden handshake and saying that you are compulsorily retired because you have become a deadwood. These are actually terminology of the service laws. Is the employee productive or is he or she a deadwood now? Deadwood, that's the word. People who are well versed in service law or service jurisprudence would know what a deadwood means. So please ensure that meticulousness is your innate nature. Try and imbibe it. Work on it. Train yourself. Train your mind. Next slide, Mr. Sagar. I think I already told you complacency. Chalta hai attitude. No growth, nothing. Please don't do that. Courts. We cannot, as court employees or officers or as judicial officers, we cannot afford to be complacent. We cannot afford to be second to anyone else. We have to be the torch bearers, we have to be at the forefront, we have to be in the front line, at the grassroots, approachable. Please, when it comes to we hear complaints from the districts, from people, sometimes we receive anonymous letters saying that when someone went to the court for some filings, the officer there was not helpful, the help desk there, no one was there. Please don't do all this. Try and work on it. It's the most mild manner that I can put it forward. Next, Ms. Sagar. Well, this is quite interesting. Recently I was reading some book. You can just Google it. If you Google the same thing, I think you know some very eminent person has said this. I've seen two types of people, Someone who simply want to be somebody. There's nothing wrong in it. And the other group, other category is someone who actually want to do something. Now those who want to be somebody, if they are emulating someone who is very good, very effective, efficient, and also trying to improve, like I said, increasing his or her worth, nothing wrong in it. But the problem in smaller states like ours is, okay, after I get that designation, I will maybe wear this, drive in this vehicle, behave in this manner. No, this is not, I would say, sorry to say, this is not progressive thing. It's not a progressive thing. And the other category which I would want all of you to be, as your well-wisher, as someone who is probably senior, maybe not in age, because some are elder to me here, someone who presently has the platform to say this. And I am very forthright in what I say. I never mince words. That is why many would like me, many would hate me or love me, but no one can ignore me. This should be edited, don't worry. So whether you want to be somebody, just a copycat, run of the mill, the cookie cutter thing, have that cookie cutter approach, or whether you actually want to do something. If you want to be somebody and then do something, wow, nothing like it. That combination is gonna be superb. Sigma, as they say, the kids these days. And I'm so happy with the new generation that are coming up. I watch my own kids. The way their thought process, the way the schooling system is now evolving, thanks to the people laying down these education policies. Our children are growing in such a manner, and maybe at some point of time we are going to be obsolete looking at their trend, their drift. So please, even if you want to be something, oh sir, I want that promotion, sir, I want that higher grade. Okay, no, there is nothing wrong in it. In legal terminology, there is something called legitimate expectation. You have a legitimate expectation to seek promotion, to get promotion, for your further progression. That is your legitimate expectation. This is legal terminology. Nothing wrong in it. But, next slide, that legitimate expectation has to be growing with the institution. You also have to ensure that you are growing with the institute. Your institution is growing with you. And collective growth. When I said LWT, when I said leadership qualities, and 90% of us, we are lacking these leadership qualities. And I am not mincing a single word in saying this. We are not thinking in collective terms. We have become too individualistic. Let us not do that. Let there be collective growth. Let us grow with the institute, because your performance directly affects the outcome of the institute's productivity. Next slide, if there is any, Mr. Sagar. Very soon, our Mr. Sagar, who has been with me in so many programs, would be transferred to West District. Now, High Court's loss is going to be Galzing Court's gain. So with a heavy heart, we had to send, because it was on promotion. Work atmosphere. Unfortunately, I have seen the desired working culture, the much sought working atmosphere is lacking in some of the organizations. देश का अमृत काल चल रहा है, अमृत महोत्सव, we say that. At present, even our institutes को अमृत काल नहीं चली रहा. Let me tell you what is. And thanks to the vision and far-fetched plans and programs of the Honorable the Chief Justice, we are actually having Amrit Kal. I, in the last 20 years or so, have never seen such a pace in which our institution has actually grown. But after we have come into the system, especially for the newer recruits, and also for the older recruits, let us create an atmosphere. Those who have served with me in the districts, they will remember I used to have monthly or fortnightly meeting, bi-monthly meetings, Sabita ma'am would know, with all my staff members or staffers. You know what I used to tell them? And I say it in Nepali because I used to say it in Nepali. Ben, when you get ready for your work, do you want to feel कि my work, खै यस्तो atmosphere, जानु मन पर्दैन, or with that josh, after workplace office जानु मन पर्दैन? What if there is office politics? What if there is someone who is actually taking advantage of his or her closeness to the head of the institute, head of the concerned district? That is what we should avoid. Make an atmosphere, develop a culture where everyone is included. We need to be more inclusive. It's not that staffers of one particular section are ganging up against the other section. Let us avoid that. Any more slides, Mr. Sagar? No, you can go back. There is still some time. Well, I've said what had to be said. And I'm not done yet. Let your hair down. In fact, we did not edit also. Because academic, why do we have academies or these interactive institutes where we can actually, where a platform is provided for us to interact? So that we can actually, of course, maintain all the decorum. We can let our hair down, we can discuss things and all. We can criticize certain, not individuals, criticize the manner in which something is functioning. We can give an insight on it or for it or regarding it. So I won't bother the first row as of now. Anything, I think we'll start from Mr. Ashok. Mr. Ashok, anything you would like to discuss so that it could benefit all of us. And you can speak in the local language, okay? It doesn't matter. And I'm not saying you don't know English, but in order to express yourself, the lingua franca, as they say, you can always speak in the local language or Hindi as well. Kechal, participants, anyone? Anil ji, Mr. Anil, anything, something, just crack a conversation. Then as you know, of all the people, some of you know how much I love to talk. But please be seated, and introduce yourself so that the others would also know you.
My name is Karma Chinbutia. I'm from district gathering. Staff should be resupported in all districts.
Should be. With much to your chagrin or much to your dismay, you may be hated for saying that. Bushman. Now, you may not know, in service jurisprudence, there is something called periodical transfers. And transfer can never be punitive. it has to be in the exigencies of service. Now, why would we want the librarian of Namchi district to also serve in Gangtok? An example. Better exposure. Because we have the maximum number, and this is not a lifelong transfer. 3 years the minimum in one place. For example, by the time I got back to the capital, I actually spent all my actual productive years and my youth in the districts. I know. And reshuffling, you said, but for example, a Group D employee who has his house next to the court center, who is giving his 100% to the institute. Now, if we transfer him or her to, let's say, a district which is 200 kilometers away, forcing him to separate from his family, do you think he will be equally productive? So what rank are we talking about? What grade employee we are talking about? It's not that everyone in a particular institute should be transferred. Of course, ours is a transferable service. Transfer is an incidence of service, to sound correct as per service local language. It is a condition of service. But it cannot be mechanical pani hunu bhayo. So of course you are right in a way, but it has to be reasonable also. And we will not allow someone to be in a place and not produce anything. Agi maile ke bhane? Complacency. You have to perform. Perform, now a little stricter side of me. Either perform or perish. Honorable judges, either perform or perish. Got it? Got it, Mr. Next, yes, Mr. Ashok, ekdam. भन्नु आँट्नु भएको थियो, मैले यता भनिदिइहालेँ, भन्नुहोस् त.
So regarding transfer,
That's what. This is what I was trying to point out. And I am glad that you have come on record. Mirror transfer. Unfortunately, seva is dharam. So we have taken to this. That's why. How does it matter? You are only 62 kilometers away from Namchi. Does it even matter? Look at our armed forces. My brother is also in the army. Spent whole of his career in some of the most disturbed areas in the country. And you are worried about your transfer. That is why I said we lack leaders. Thank you very much, Mr. Thakur. You actually proved my point. Mr. Anish, he actually gave the long and short of what I was trying to say. Mr. Subham, anything, come on. We become so formal. Anything, any kurama. Be seated, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Shubha. I work as an LBA in Gangtok district. So, how can we handle work pressure in district court?
When your work is a passion, there is no pressure. Problem is, maybe because of unemployment, I'm not in, it is of course because of unemployment. Someone doing LLB would try and apply for some work which does not fit his job, his educational qualifications. Now, first of all, pressure would come only at that point of time when, apart from the quantity of work, that is also, they are not saying it just because you may not like your work, pressure would come. We may love our work, for especially who else than a judicial officer would know how much, what work pressure is. But if you love your job, if your work is a passion, you'll never feel tired. Like I told in the beginning, I may have done some of the most sensitive, high profile cases. And many of you know what type of cases I have actually decided or tried. I never felt that pressure. Physical, of course, doing 140 cases, the only court in Sikkim which actually took up 140 cases in a day because the court vacation was approaching. Physical pressure is something, but what pressure Mr. Subham is trying to convey is that work and mental pressure. If you remember, I said, instead of the Registrar General dealing with all the files, I have allocated the work to 3 other learned judicial officers in the registry. And that is how I can afford to sit here and deliver whatever I am delivering here. So what Mr. Shubham and the others also should do, I am sure you are not the LDA in your section. There are other LDAs as well. So I would request the section in charge. For example, you would obviously have a UDA above you. And the UDA would have a head assistant above him or her. And then office superintendent. Best thing is, like I told you, I got a very good news. Someone was working on it because I, as the Registrar General, knew that he was very good in that. He was adept and I would say studying in what he does there. Today Mr. Sagar is here. He is a very busy person. He is the Assistant Registrar of the High Court, a gazetted officer. But I know, and this is not his work. Sitting next to me and doing this slideshow is not his work. But when I requested him on the last occasion and today, Subhamji Sunno said, Mr. Sagar, can you accompany me and help you out? He never said this is not my job profile. He never said that I am a gazetted officer, sir. It may not behove for the assistant registrar to do it. Kaile mane na tumhare. This is what I am talking about. So, divide your work, talk to your section head, and I can tell you this because I am actually in all the districts. Shrinkala ma'am knows, Sabita ma'am knows, Kunta ma'am knows, Mamta ma'am knows. I used to actually divide all the work. So talk to your immediately next higher up. Divide the work. I know you are in a very busy section. I personally know your competence also. You are actually doing very good. Tara alikati try and allocate and divide the work. The problem is we will try that one upmanship ko lagi, we will try to do everything ourselves. The problem, then the results would be some disaster. No? Talk to your section head. Have the work allocated. Okay, this LDA, and I'm sure there are 3 or at least more than 2 LDAs in any section. Allocation and something which you are good at, to Tamil also work on the other Ute also. But Parkinson's law, Parkinson's law, your efficiency, the approach that you have, and main check, try and have the works allocated within the section as well. No, very good question. Instead of that personal transfer thing, this is what I like. Sinkala ma'am. Here, from here to Poi, yes, guys. Anything you want me to discuss till our tea break is over?
Of the work atmosphere. So, actually, we don't have that type of time to think about those things, because when we arrive at our duty, we straight away jump into our work, and we tend to forget all those things in between. What I like to say is there should be some, it's probably a suggestion, sir. Actually, it's not a question. Sir, there should be some recession time where all the staffs could work together, come to have a meeting or something in a week, once a week, and share their problems at work, so that there could be some
Very good.
good.
Wonderful. What a wonderful suggestion. That's why I wanted you to speak. He is also a very hardworking person.
Thank you, sir.
Well, these things, of course, all the districts have their learned district judges who are heading the districts. As the Registrar General, I can always pass it on to them, because that is what we used to do, ma'am. If you remember Mamta ma'am, Kunta ma'am and Sabita ma'am. For fortnightly meetings and all, some recreation, some sports event and all, I think that I can always pass it on to the learned district judges. And you can also put forward these suggestions to the respective district judges. And as for your district, Mr. Chongit, Mr. Karma Wangchuk is there, a thorough gentleman, wonderful person. Sir, like Bannos, in fact, you can tell him that in some in-house or Indo, I made a mention and he actually told me to talk to you. He is not going to say, ki, "Are, Udaina Manna." He is equally, I would say, he would invite that, he would welcome this particular suggestion. So that is for the head of the district, and very soon we are having a meeting for all the judicial officers in this district. I will try and put it forward to them. I'll put it across. Okay, very good. Yes, Mr. Anand, a very serious and thoughtful person.
Collective growth चाहिँ अब अलिकति इन्क्रिज गर्नु के गर्नु पर्ने?
Collective growth, like I said, collectively work गर्नु. You can always see कि अरे के छ any help required भनेर across your table. You can go, unless it's some confidential कुरा त जानु भएन. But otherwise you work in that as well. तर individual बसेर groups, what I've seen is, I was talking about that organizational behavior. It talks about teamwork. In Mr. Subham's case, something like teamwork. Have early morning group discussions. Okay, Aja, we have maybe 17 or 20 or 55 hizo belka aako. Do one thing, yo category ko you, this category, this, and any utyo, we'll sit together, we'll meet. Let's say you start working and we'll meet after 2 hours, we'll sit together, any issues, we'll just put it. This is later to we are service providers also. Basically, as a teamwork, I think collective, Mr. Milan, our new Deputy Registrar, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Very good.
My name is Milan Rai. Recently, I got promoted as a Deputy Registrar IT, and Sir has helped me, and Honorable Lordship has helped me to achieve this post. Regarding my question, actually I was thinking about our office, District and Session Court. यो हाम्रो डिस्ट्रिक्ट एन्ड सेसन्स कोर्ट गान्तोक चाहिँ सबैभन्दा ओल्डेस्ट कोर्ट कम्प्लेक्स हो, तर अहिलेसम्म अरू सबै डिस्ट्रिक्टहरू चाहिँ नयाँ भएको छ, राम्रो जग्गाहरू भएको छ, बस्ने प्रशस्त प्लेस रुम्सहरू छ। तर स्टिल आई बिङ नाउ एज अ डिप्टी रेजिस्ट्रार आइटी एउटै उयसमा बसेको छु, तर त्यो पनि एउटै सर्भर रुममा छ। त्योभित्र हामी थुप्रोजना छ एउटै रुममा, सिस्टम एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, इभन एकजना प्युन पनि बसेको छ हामीसँगै छ, म पनि त्यही रुममा छ, सर्भर पनि छ। स्टिल मैले याद गरेको चाहिँ हाम्रो डिस्ट्रिक्ट एन्ड सेसन कोर्ट गान्तोक चाहिँ अलिकति बढेको चाहिँ म चाहन्छु सर। चाहिँ यो चाहिँ तपाईँलाई राखेको छ।
I know because I've been in that court center for a very long time. Well, when I say institutional growth, that doesn't mean the size of the institution. Annex building, that's on a lighter wing. Regarding time, space constraints and all, of course they are, because I wouldn't call it a old structure, because in civil engineering, I think after 50, 60, 70, 80 years, like an old structure. And that building was inaugurated only in the year 1994, 5, 6, 7, 98 or something. So it is actually looking at it from the point of view of an engineer, civil engineer. It is not an old structure. Only thing is, over the period of time, what it was thought for, we have actually, the volume of work has actually grown, increased. Regarding institutions, I should also not exceed my brief for today. I cannot say we should have this building and next building. That is, I should not exceed my brief. But it has been noted, and let's see what can be done about it. But this space constraints and all, I think the same room, what I have noted is, the same room, how you set it up, architecturally banu, designing wise, the way you place your tables and chairs and all, it also adds or diminishes your working capacity. So this why, if you could work rather than our new structure, it will take 2-3 years. So let us try and do things from whatever is available. But I can understand your concern. That is a problem. Mr. Adil, you have not spoken. Why? Anything? Being the bright person that you are.
So I am satisfied with all the answers and then the questions related to it.
I didn't know you were diplomatic as well. And you also have to be diplomatic at times. There are very few people who speak their mind out. And Srinkala man, I don't know the names of the others, but since you have worked for me for a long time, anything man, just pull the mic towards you. And
my name is Prajwal and I am System Officer at District and Sessions Court. First of all, sir, what atmosphere could I have? Sir, I would like.
Hello. So regarding work atmosphere, so, first of all, we are very much grateful for your guidance, sir, when you were posted at North Sikkim. We are very much grateful, sir. So work atmosphere ko barema so I would like to say something, sir. So when you were posted at North Sikkim, so beside only doing work, sir.
Well, I would request you to be louder so that the others would also. And I did the same thing in South Sikkim also. One.
So when you were posted at North Sikkim, so like you said, ki work atmosphere ma गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीलाई खाली अफिस जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ हामीलाई अलिकति अफिस जुम खालको इन्भाइरोमेन्ट होस् भनेर छ. So for that, so you have introduced volleyball courtहरू, sir. So beside only working, sir.
Well, just to give you just to give you the background of that. When I was posted to North Sikkim, even I was shocked, because I thought I was very efficient. So to send me to a district where there are only 13 or 10 cases, I thought ठिकै छ भेकेसनमा पठाएको होला, I'll take it as a sabbatical, do some doctorate, PhD, LLD गरिदिन्छु सोचे. Even in that I was thinking about my कुछ त गर्छु भनेर, I'll write articles and all, maybe another book, third book actually to be precise. So I saw, and it was a new court setup for the judicial officers from my money. I saw all young guys there. 13, 14 young guys, very young guys in their early 20s. Man. Then I asked one of them. Of course, I was given additional charge of special corruption cases, courts and all. All cases were dumped in those courts. The Gangtok also, I had to attend to Gangtok court as well. So when I saw them, I asked one of them, so you all are young and most of you are not from Mangan district. What do you do in the evenings? So I got different answers. I also came to know that some young guys had developed drinking habit. You know? Drinking and all. So I thought this is not productive at all. And there was some space which could be utilized for, and I wanted a sport, not table tennis or badminton where only 2 or 4 could play. I wanted a space where at least 10 to 12 could play. And since I play almost all sports, I requested someone, and a volleyball court was, all those net and all, everything was erected. So I then made all these 12, 13 young productive guys to meet me there at 5 p.m. every day, play volleyball with me, and until they had to go back. Even if it was dark, we used to switch on those floodlights or whatever those we had. And again, Mr. Chongzit said, Mr. Chongzit, you said that some recession or recreation or something, if I am right. You'll have to tell your learned district judges also. For example, in Namchi, we actually made that badminton court go with you. I encouraged many court members to join me in Baichung Indoor Stadium to play badminton and all, because there are 3 or 4 courts. Play sports, football, volleyball and all. So Sinkalamam, not only in Mangan, I had done in South Sikkim also. That is how you actually develop this work culture, good atmosphere, and everybody being creative. And I am glad that we actually, now what ma'am has said has validated. When I go to the districts, I can actually feel welcome. This is what, and thanks to ma'am. You can say other good things also.
So we are still following the culture, sir. So right now we have badminton court.
Okay, it's an addition now. Very good. So do that and talk to your learned district judges, and most of them are young. I think Sikkim is the only state which has the most young district judges. Now, I may be 43 years old. This is my 12th year as a district judge. 12th year as a district judge. So all of them are young, barring 1 or 2. All are, I think, this thing. So talk to them. Mr. Chongzit, you talk to Karma sir. राम्रो atmosphere बनायो होइन, and who wouldn't love यस्तो suggestions आउँदा, and we are not wasting public money on it. We are contributing, doing something होइन, from our own pockets and all. Let us do that. Mr. Anand, when was the last time you met your learned district judge? Prajwal, and you probably, we got into service at the same time. You're 2005, right?
1997, sir.
What is it?
1997.
1997? अरे म त young लाग्थे. So since 97, when was the last time you made a suggestion? Almost 20 years now. Another 2 years, another 20 years. So alikati that quality, collectiveness, we should get it. Anyone from the middle?
Sir,
Yes.
I had one question, sir.
Go, Miller.
Sir, state tournament खेल्दा suppose I play badminton अनि national
I
represent
know because you used to play with me in Namchi. And you are very good in that.
Sir, त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामीले स्टेटबाट एउटा छुट्टीको लागि एउटा दिएको हुन्छ कि सर लेटरहरू, त्योबाट हामीले या खेल्नु छुट्टी पाउँछ कि पाउँदैन भनेर या त्यस्तो?
No, if you have leave to your credit, of course leave cannot be claimed as a right. But if you have leave to your credit, if your workload is not much during that time, it is divide. For example, let's say if you have a tournament to play, to participate in, maybe in the next coming month, next month. So obviously तपाईँको work सक्यो, so that your load at that point of time, no one suffers. Of course there will be leave substitutes to हुन्छ, in charge to हुन्छ. And one thing I left out, how did I miss out? Just add it so that future, if you can add one slide, before that, thank you. Mr. Sagar was so eager to go to thank you. Before thank you, Chief, need to be a good manager. There was a slide. Add that slide. Look, I am improvising. Now next time when I take a session for, let's say, state government employee, improvising. And thanks to Mr. Milan, there's something, let Mr. Sagar show his expertise and then I'll do it. Mr. Sagar said, Pahilachi, you have to be a good manager. Whatever you do, be it a judge, be it a doctor, be it some coordinator, being the librarian, whatever you do, you have to be a good manager. You should be able to manage it. Though I bragged about it, I may not have much work because I have ably allocated it to my able friends, but ultimately pura काम हुन्छ, but somehow I'll manage it. Mr. Milan, be a good manager. What you can do is, त्यति बेला tournament को time मा, take your own leave, you earn that leave. Though you cannot claim it as a right, but you have still earned it. बुझ्नुभयो नि? र एउटा टुर्नामेन्ट कति हुन्छ? 1 महिनाको टुर्नामेन्ट त हुँदैन. And if it is within the state or without the state, outside the state, what you can do is टक त्यो टाइममा छुट्टी मिला, manage your work, manage your play, and sky is the limit. No? So you need to be a good manager in whatever you do. And I have seen in some of the districts, and including in the High Court, I have seen some people who are actually very good managers. I have seen meticulous people. I have seen very good managers, dynamic persons, and I have even learned, and we also even learn from someone who may be, irrespective of his grade or his hierarchy, this is learned from everyone. I may not like all 100% of Mr. Sagar, but I will try and emulate 98% of his goodness. 2% I will filter. Mr. Milan, you may not like someone, or you may like someone, तो उसको हर qualities तो होने वाले नहीं. Bad qualities पण हुन्छ, हैन? To err is human, banja. के होला त्यो, we all are fallible. We all are fallible. केही न केही fallacy हुन्छ. So good things, let us emulate or copy. Bad things will filter. Orko, coming from, taking a cue from what he said. Most of you, I see very fit. Mr. Subham has actually lost his weight. Oh, I could make out that. Physical fitness. Kina aja International Yoga Day. Our country is in the forefront of that. International Yoga Day, National Kunike Divas, Vyayam, exercise ko Kunike. Because health is wealth ultimately. I have seen people, unfortunately, very young people, suffering due to, and all of us here, we have a sedentary life. होइन मिस्टर मिलन? sedentary life छ नि, बसी बस्ने काम. हाम्रो त एकदम कुद्ने काम छैन. we have mind ko काम छ त, whether on our computers, our texts or whatever, files or whatever. So sedentary life हुँदा चाहिँ तपाईको it adversely affects your health. And body ले चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने brain मा चाहिँ there is something called dopamine effect भन्छ कि when you do something which makes you happy, you are actually releasing that dopamine. So when you do exercise, and I can say this because in less than a month I actually lost 21 kgs. If you look at my older YouTube videos, Mr. Anil, you will actually see a very unhealthy district judge in that. अहिले चाहिँ बेसी घटेर I have been advised to put some weight, personality effect गर्दैछ भनेर. Health मा पनि both your mental health and your physical health, especially our ladies. Thanks to the Honorable High Court, in the High Court, we have introduced something called menstrual leave. Being conscious of the fact that during that time, emotional, physical, biological, physiological changes or hormonal, some people actually have to get admitted in the hospital. I did not say that. You all know that. Something like that. Unfortunately, districts बाट some representation आएको छैन for all these good things to be implemented there. Because when it comes to district courts, is Article 309. So we'll have to send it to the state government. State government may have its own reservations. So it's a long process. So, and another thing, before I wind up, why is there no association for the ministerial staff members? Sabita ma'am छ association. नाम्चीमा छैन, ग्याङ्टोकमा छ association, छैन, मङ्गनमा association छ, छैन, सोरेङमा association छ, छैन, गेजिङमा छैन, कुन चाहिँ डिस्ट्रिक्ट हो? पाक्योङको पाक्योङमा छ association, मान्छे छैन क्या association. One thing, our constitution allows us to form associations. Strange. I've noted even Judicial Officers Association. 2013, I was the one who actually drafted Sikkim Judicial Officers Association को एउटा rules. Not for my personal benefit. अघि चाहिँ collective and leadership को कुरा है. I circulated it to all the judicial officers. Jaming was not even in service 2013. I circulated it to all the judicial officers in the state. Majority of them said wow and Utyo. Some of them showed no interest. Few of them did something which actually discouraged me. 2013 को कुरा गर्दैछ तर स्टुडेन्टै छ सबै. I wanted to do it for us and barring few nobody encouraged me. Ulta as if I will take the glory yesterday for that. Are you getting my point? And now that our number is much more now, maybe we are now 30 त पुग्यो होला हामी. 30 पुग्यो होला. 14 district judges, 8 to 22 त यही छौं. 23 your good self. 30 पुग्यो. So I think time is ripe to have an association. Isn't it, guys?
Yes.
Guys, to be edited. Isn't it? Yes. Dear participants, formal number, something formal settings ma. Tesma tabayaru please work on it. Maybe then that collective growth ko kura huncha. The associations can put forward their demands. Work as pressure groups. फेरि युनियन बाजी गर्नु होइन नि फेरि होइन फर गुड थिङ कसैकोमा मरौ पर्यो क्रिएट अ फन्ड हेल्प द्याट आउट इट क्यान बी लेटर अन हुन्छ नि पिसमेल पाराले वापस त्यो हुन्छ डु द्याट म त आई जस्ट लुक एट इट एन्ड सिन्स अब मैले फेरि डिस्ट्रिक्ट्सको कुरा गर्नु पनि भएन फदिलाले डिस्ट्रिक्ट जजेस बट तपाईँहरूले चाहिँ एज नन जुडिसियल अफिसर्स एन्ड स्टाफ मेम्बर्स you should have an association. It will be very productive and very helpful also. ल स्पेशली जो पनि कोर्ट अफिसर्स हुनुहुन्छ र हाम्रो चिफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिभ अफिसर त छैनन् होला आज छैनन् होला भेरी सिनियर अफिसर्स फ्रम टुडे वी क्यान कल देम चिफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिभ अफिसर्स बुझ्नुभयो नि अन्त सो प्लिज फर्म यो तपाईँहरूको एसोसिएसन छ र इट्स लिगली पर्मिसिबल एन्ड इफ यु वान्ट टेक द पर्मिसन अफ द Honorable High Court through the concerned district judge. बुझ्नुभयो नि गरेर गर्नुहोस् तपाईँहरूलाई काम आउँछ एसोसिएसनसँग के हुन्छ एउटा एसोसिएसन छ भने अब आई डोन्ट वान्ट टु से बट इट विल कम ह्यान्डी ल अझै केही छ एनीवान शुभम ग्रुप त्यो ग्रुपले चाहिँ बोलेको छैन है र सविता म्याम यो ग्रुपले ममता म्याम के छ एनी चिज तपाईँले खालि यु जस्ट हेभ टु विस्पर अबाउट इट एन्ड देन अरू त म फेरि मोस्टली डाइरेक्टली or indirectly everything has been covered. Except the lunch. Mostly अर्को since यहाँ रहेछ how to fix responsibility and keep control over staff members and delegation of works. Delegation, allocation of work मैले भने responsibility. Yes. Service law मा चाहिँ in your service career there is something called fixing of responsibility. Now if you don't do your work, and I can say this because majority of disciplinary proceedings have been conducted by me compared to any other judicial officers in the state. Misconduct, dereliction of duty. Now I have been told that there is someone in Galzing court who actually comes drunk every day. Now that is a misconduct. I am wondering why the file has not come to the Honorable High Court so that it can be placed before the competent authority. Maintaining discipline. I may sound a little on a sour note, not sour as well as sour note. If you do not perform, if there is dereliction of your duty. Now I came to know that in some district, some system administrator formatted something and everything disappeared from the database. Jaisin bade ho? It could be an accident, maybe a technical glitch, or it could be a negligence. Is it a culpable negligence? Now if it is culpable negligence, culpable भनेको deserving blame वाला negligence, then that will attract some departmental action. Departmental action after a departmental or disciplinary proceedings. त्यो तपाईले, is that my tea? Okay, thank you. Dereliction of duty, just be careful. I know all of you almost personally, and courts I have never heard of anyone actually not doing their duty. That may not apply here, but alikati we need to be careful. Sometimes कोही अरूको गल्तीले पनि आफूलाई पर्छ हैन you're fixing responsibilities, and don't shrug off your responsibilities. Take everything on, and otherwise फेरि अब सर्भिस जुरिस्प्रुडेन्समा डिसिप्लिन प्रोसिडिङ्स द्याट मे मार यर फ्युचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स होइन, त्यो पनि तपाईँले हेर्नुहोस्. मेन्टेनेन्स अफ रेकर्ड्स अब त अल डिजिटाइजेसन स्क्यानिङ भइसक्यो होइन, अलमोस्ट अल स्क्यानिङ एन्ड डिजिटाइजेसन इज कम्प्लिट. Those at the helm of it, those section in charge who are dealing with it, be careful. You know, ultimately we are shifting to, ultimately it's all about digitization. Then effective meetings and all, I think in the passing I made a reference to that as well. Okay, noting drafting. When I said meticulous, I covered that as well. Actually, you may not know, but I have covered that as well. When I talked about meticulousness and the way I presented it, I made it interesting for me, which I can make out from your face expressions and all. Plus, you never knew कि topic पनि cover भयो. Notings ma usma meticulousness, especially for the judicial officers. What you write is a pronouncement of the court. Judgment in red. I know. You're pronouncing, it's going to be uploaded in the National Judicial Data Grid. Everyone is going to read your judgments. A judge is known through his judgments. And you know where the guarantee of justice lies. Now coming to the first law, the guarantee of justice lies in the personality of the individual judge. And a judge should think himself as an artist. Just that artisan or that craftsmanly murti banaउँछ नि, चाको craftsmanship देखाएर. A judge should think himself as a craftsman. And Prajwal Khatiwada is not saying that. Benjamin Cardozo has said that. Whatever comes out of my mouth, even the jokes, things which I say in the lighter vein, is quoted somewhere or someplace. So त्यो पनि do well, all of you. I think it's already time now, you know, and be the heroes and sheroes of your departments. No, especially sheroes, you know, I know Sabita ma'am, Mamta ma'am, Kunta ma'am, they are very senior officers. They've been the sheroes of, and of course they are heroes also. Be the heroes and sheroes of your institutes. Do well. We have only good things to hear about you. And don't worry about some transfer and pettiness and all. Don't worry. After certain term, सुबह का भूला शाम को घर आप वापस आए. Don't worry, होइन, अलिकति एउटा एक्सपोजर पनि हुन्छ. And do well, that is all I have to say. Anything else, Jameng ma'am, being the deputy director, have I left out on anything? Any specific point? No? Mostly, you know.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Sir, actually, on behalf of all the staffs, especially staff members from district court, what we were talking was High Court like just medical reimbursement why not district court issues is but since that matter has to go to state government, so maybe at the association future ma.
Very good, very good. I'm so glad. Officers also and the court managers also now that तपाईहरुले after districts एउटा बात गर्नुहोस् and एउटा by circulation भन्छ कि सबैले दुई तीनवटा, if you want the facilities to be extended, benefits to be extended to you, you write to the Honorable High Court, you have route it through the district judges. No? Then I will place it before the Honorable, the competent authority. Then we can send it to because state government, even for district court employees, all rules that are to be made, has to be made only after consultation with the Honorable High Court. So if we send a proposal, the state government has been very cooperative. Anju ma'am, very good. I am so happy. First time I have heard you speaking in the last 20 years. And good that the shadow of an incompetent person which was over you, I could separate the two of you. Vidwani, now you have actually grown. Very good. Okay, that मैले भनिहाले suggestion, send it forward, ma'am. यताबाट I think I see Mr. Zonal, a very senior officer. What is the Zonal, sir? Last question about before we.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon.
Sir, सरलाई एउटै गुनासो वेस्टको र हाम्रो सर
अलिकति माइक
सरी सर सर वेस्टको स्टाफ र हाम्रो नर्थको स्टाफ पनि सर यो जुन चाहिँ पेसकरको ग्रुप छ नि सर उहाँहरूको स्किल चाहिँ आजसम्म सर मिलेको थिएन हामीले अलिक ट्राई पनि गरेको थियो सर
I got it. We have already worked on it.
हजुर सर
अघि मैले के भन्यो अमृत काल.
हजुर सर
Already we have worked on it, even for drivers, some of the Group D employees, which unfortunately was not done. We have already worked on it. Very good, Mr. Zonal.
Thank you, sir.
हेर्नुहोस् त यहीँनिर छुपेको प्रतिभा भन्छ Anju ma'am, Zonal sir, these are very senior officers here. Do that and don't worry, we have already done it. We are just waiting. In fact, I could the district court ma पनि त्यो थिएन. So that has also gone. So give us 15 to 20 days. No? Very good. I think that's it, Jami ma'am. It was so productive and let me thank, before they offer the formal vote of thanks, let me thank N.G. Sherpa sir, the senior most judicial officer in the state, for considering me to be nominated for this program. And he knows that I normally don't speak before an audience unless I love the audience. So when he floated the idea of getting me as a resource person for this topic, I said why not. So I think that's it, we can close the proceedings now.